Hey, Anna, do you know where the American gorilla is?
No.
You failed me.
Sorry.
Hi.
I just had to Google American gorilla to see if even such a thing existed.
Does it?
Yeah, does American gorilla exist?
Anything exists on the internet. You just have to be careful what you actually type in.
Now I'm curious.
I think it's a takeoff on American Sniper. It's the one that I found. Anyway, thank you, McKinley, for getting us off task at the very start of class.
Wait, Mr. C, did you order a PS5?
I sure tried. I spent the last hour and a half. No joy.
I know, they only made like 5 of them.
That's what it's like. Myself and another teacher, we were in the queue to buy one, and we were counting down the minutes, and didn't work. Still didn't get one. There's another shot next week, I think.
When is it supposed to officially release?
It's already released last the 12th.
Oh, they're just not making enough.
Right.
All right.
Classic economics. And they're selling for thousands of dollars on eBay. This is the same thing happened. PS3. Same thing happened. All right. Any questions on the homework? 1 through 11 all. Well, no questions. That must have been an easy one then. I think this is the first homework assignment of the entire year that we haven't had a question.
Actually, I do have a question. Number 11, I really didn't get.
Number 11 wasn't that hard.
All
It didn't even, you didn't really need to use theorems 5, 6, or 6, 6.
We had that and, oh, that's horrible. And that. And we got T, UV, and S. And you're told to prove that ST is greater than SV. That's what we get. We're going to prove that ST is greater than SV. Well, I mean, we could do it by contradiction. There's a couple other ways we can do it. If it is true that, well, I mean, it is true from the given, but what I was going to say, I've lost my mouse. I hate this program. It makes me lose my mouse. There it goes. All right, so if it's true, notice we have this one is isosceles, this one is isosceles. If it's true that the whole thing is an isosceles, then this side would have to equal this side.
May I say what I did?
Go for it.
All right, so knowing that TU, US, and SV are all equal, I looked to triangle SUT. Well, first, obviously, I saw figuring out like angle SUV is equal to angle SVU, and same with.
Let me catch up, Ben. Let me catch up. So that's congruent to that. That's congruent to that. That's congruent to that, and that's congruent to that. Okay.
Yeah. Then this next part took me a while. I looked at theorem 6.1, and I was able to figure out that according to theorem 6-1, angle STU. No, angle SUV is bigger than angle STU because of theorem 6.1.
Okay.
Then using substitution, I was able to figure out angle SVU is bigger than STU. And then I use
Meaning it cannot be isosceles, so it has to
Yeah,
be
and
bigger.
then-
And then you use contradiction.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would have gone with contradiction right from the very
I
start.
did go contradiction.
Oh, I tried
too.
contradiction at the start, but I really couldn't get past it since I was very
Oh.
tired.
I did contradiction too, yeah.
Well, once again, we could say that, I mean, the two contradictions, and it's kind of like that proof I did. It's either, if it's not greater than, then it's either equal to or it's less than. So, I mean, that's what you're trying to get to a contradiction about. So let's see. If ST was equal to that, that would make the whole darn thing an isosceles triangle. That means that this would have to be congruent to that. Well, it certainly looks that way, right? It looks that this is congruent to that, so it looks like it should be an isosceles triangle, right? Why is ST not equal to SV? And where's the contradiction?
Then you would have to say that both of the triangles are congruent, which obviously they're not.
Well, I mean, you can't go by the picture. You have to go by what you're given. And you're given that this is congruent to this, and this is congruent to that. So if we just look at this triangle right here, well, that's got to be congruent to that, and that's got to be congruent to this, because it's the same darn side, or is there something else going on there? And the issue is that nobody stopped me when I drew this, because I wish I could, let me stop the share here. So these two can stay the same, right? If my two hands are congruent, they're congruent whether they're like this or they're like this. But notice if I were to make what would touch my two fingers point of the triangle, even though these stay congruent, clearly what the segment that would connect my two fingers would be changing. And that's kind of what's going on with this sucker right here. Where did my picture go? Oh, it went away because I deleted it. Oh,
The gorilla one or the line one?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did you make your profile picture Gengar?
to find out who were the true Pokemon nerds of my students. So thank you, Ben. You identified yourself.
Well, Gengar's not that hard of a Pokemon. If you
Wow,
want to go
man.
one,
I mean,
go
he's a
one that
pretty
has, like,
he's a
lot.
pretty memorable one, even for those who don't know Pokemon.
You should go.
I don't even know who the heck you're talking about, so.
Well,
There we
okay,
go.
fine.
But, yeah,
Alright. So I'm going to go back to where we left off on, which was, even though that this, oh dear Lord, I hate this program. Even though this isosceles triangle is congruent to this, here's the issue. If I try to draw one arc right here, it's that issue that I just showed you with my hands, which is, even though this is true, and it's true for this one, they may not be congruent to each other. And that's the problem right there. And that's the problem why this one is not true. So proof by contradiction is absolutely the easiest way to go. Easiest way to go. All right, any other questions? Oh, and it's still doing it. There we go. All right, here we go. With exception number 11, which is the proof, I'll cut all the other answers. Number 1, the measure of angle 1 is greater than the measure of angle 2, and that's using the SSS inequality. Number 2, TR is greater than VS, and that's by the SAS inequality. Number 3, 2 statements, XY is greater than XZ, and XW is greater than 12. Number 4, AD is less than CE. Number 5, 2 statements, measure of angle 1 is less than the measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 3 is greater than the measure of angle 4. Number 6, the measure of angle 5 is less than the measure of angle 6. Number 7, A is less than B. Number 8, C is less than 10. Number 9, the measure of angle 1 is greater than the measure of angle 2. Number 10, the measure of RSV is greater than the measurement of angle TSV. And for number 11, I would just solve that by proof by contradiction. All right, any questions?
I have a
Right.
question.
Sure.
Did you say number 8 was less than?
I did. C is less than 10.
How?
Well, let's see if I can.
But wouldn't it be equal to?
Well, let's see. We have what appears to be a rhombus, right? I mean, they drew it so it would look exactly like a rhombus. And down here, you're told that this is 10, this is 10, this is 10. Gosh darn, it sure looks like a rhombus. And you would think that it would have to be equal. We get that this is 58 degrees right here. So let's see if we can figure this one out. If all of these are 10.
No, it has to be less than.
Well, I know, but I'm going to explain it here. Notice on the triangle on the left here, was that Anna that had the question?
Yeah.
All right, Anna, look at the triangle on the left. What kind of triangle is it?
Isosceles?
It is more than isosceles. It's the measurement of all three sides.
An equilateral triangle?
It's an equilateral triangle. That means all the angles are
Same.
60 degrees.
60.
Right? Well, notice what's the angle of this one?
58. So the other two have to be 61 and 61 because of isosceles triangle theorem.
Correct. So the other two, and I could have done it that way a little bit easier, couldn't I? If this one is 58 right here, and there's only 180 degrees, and this one right here is isosceles, 10 and 10, therefore that would leave whatever 180 minus 58 divided by 2 is. So what, 62 divided by 2, I'm sorry, yeah, 62 divided by 2.
102 divided, no, 122 divided by 2, which is
Which was
61 and 61.
61. There we go. Therefore, we can clearly see that C would be smaller, the smallest side here. So if this side is 10 and this side is 10, well, this side C is not 10. I don't know what it is, but it's darn sure smaller than 10. So C is smaller than 10. They were trying to trick you, because it sure does look like a rhombus. All right, anyone else?
What need would they have you to trick you? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'll just say one of the primary things that we try to teach students in geometry is that just because the picture, nothing is drawn to scale intentionally. Or I should say nothing is drawn, you can never assume that things are drawn to scale. So what you have to rely on are the facts that are given, and the facts are given are always the given, or in this case, what's written in red. So even though you can make the assumption that it's a rhombus, it would be the incorrect assumption based upon what the given information is. All right, we've got tests tomorrow. The practice test is up online already with the answers. The test is, I'd say, medium. All right, it's not too hard. The proof, there's one proof. I didn't put two. Well, I might be making a liar out of myself. So while you guys are looking at this, I will pull up the test. Screen sharing has stopped. I didn't want to stop screen sharing. All right, so while you're looking at that, I will pull up the test just to make sure that I'm not a complete liar. Chapter 6, sorry, we're on chapter 6. So the test will have, the triangle inequality theorems. Absolutely, I will make you write a couple of, just like the quiz was, a couple statements, a couple or it's actually one. One statement in an if-then form, a converse, an inverse, a contrapositive, and then I will ask you whether those statements are true or false. You guys did fine on that. I think there was only one that was a little tricky. These will be straight up, looking at the question, these will be straight up geometry ones. It won't be something like a horse and 4 legs, that sort of thing. I was surprised that none of you wanted to argue that you could be a horse that somehow lost a leg and had 3 legs. I was
going to argue that, but I knew I was just going to die on top of that hill.
Okay. All right.
Horse? I'm very confused.
I will ask you questions on how to do an indirect proof. Remember, indirect proof is a proof by contradiction. You just have to be able to understand what are the steps involved. And then maybe write that first, excuse me, after the given, that first statement after the given. You know, how do you write the negation of the proved part? So that part's pretty easy. And then straight up, we'll just use those last couple theorems that we had, that the side opposite the biggest angle is always the bigger side. The angle opposite the bigger side is always the bigger angle. And then what we had last, the other one for homework. Don't forget how to figure out for the triangle stuff of, you know, if I give you 2 of the sides, then you can make that statement that you must be bigger than the 2 subtracted. And you got to be smaller than the 2 sides added together. Don't forget that. I believe that's on the practice test as well too. And that's pretty much the whole test right there. And I am giving you one proof, and it does say to solve by contradiction. So I'm not gonna say you can't do it a different way, but I'm going to force you to solve this one by contradiction. All right. Any questions or anything you want to go over again and again and again?
No, none for me.
You guys are going to make it easy on me then. All right. No class tomorrow. You can the test will be posted by 7 a.m. You don't have to take it at 7 a.m. You can take it anytime you want. Just make sure you take it within 24 hours. And then we will meet back and we'll do an algebra review. What are we doing the algebra review on? Let's see. The algebra review will be on, oh boy, fractions, our favorite. So we will review fractions, and it's not too bad. It's actually a pretty quick class. So both Tuesday, today and Thursday will be quick. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Anything, final questions? Good luck on the test. Make sure you take clear pictures so that I can see your work. Remember, if you don't want to print out the test, you don't have to. You can write all your answers and work on a separate sheet of paper. That's fine with me. But if you guys don't have anything, I'll let you go and see you guys on Thursday.
Okay, have a good week.
Yep.
Good day. I mean,
Have a
have a
good
good day.